What's going on, everybody? Jamie here from FMSCOUT. Today's video, we are going to be talking about work permits and the best countries and a few of my personal tips when it comes to work permits. Now, we all hate work permits, let's be honest. Nobody likes looking for a player who has got 5-star potential from Brazil and then realise you can't play him for the next 4 years. Or 5 years if you're managing in England. There is no instant exploit or anything like that to try and get the player. Unfortunately, it isn't a quick fix, but it can be quicker if you do certain things. If you did find this video helpful, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Before we start, there is 2 things that you need to be familiar with. The first one, accumulative. This means that a player can leave the country or transfer to another club in another nation, and when he eventually returns, the counting will continue on the number when he left the country. And continuous. This means that the player can't leave the country. If he does leave, then the number will start from the beginning. So I've got 4 countries for you where you can potentially send your player out on loan to these 4 countries, and it will be much quicker to get a work permit. There is some countries where it takes 25 years to get a second nationality. There's some where it takes 10, some where it takes 8. England generally take 5 years. So, you need to be aware there's certain things via feeder clubs and offering players out in your loan list to certain specific countries. So I want to show you all this a little bit later, but let's go through the first 4 nations that is easy to get a work permit. So I know the reason that you've clicked this video is because you've probably got a 5-star potential Brazilian in your team or somewhere of another nationality, and you want to know how to get them a work permit. Generally, people just either wait for the player to become an international player, which can take years, especially at a big nation like Brazil, because being an international player will obviously give them points to get a work permit in the nation that you manage. Or people generally just loan them out to a big team and don't know really how long it takes them to get a work permit in the hopes that they improve to be good enough for the international team. You actually have to be really selective when it comes to these type of players, otherwise you cannot be playing them for a long time. But let's go and have a look at nation number 1. Nation number 1 is Gibraltar. This only takes 2 years to gain an EU nationality, and it is accumulative. We'll go into a few players in a few of their different teams in a second. But the downside of this one is this one won't really interest you that much because your players generally won't agree to go to Gibraltar based on the rep. I mean, the world ranking is 194, so it's not the best in terms of ranking. Your players probably won't want to go there because of the rep of the league, and especially if you're a big club. But it does only take 2 years, and the way you can find this out is if you just go to a team, and for example, Lincoln Red Imps will go to a player and go to information. You can see it does say here, days to gain a nationality, 730, which is 2 years. So very good. I mean, if you play in the Gibraltar League, it's amazing. But apart from that, like I say, it's going to be tricky to even send your players to Gibraltar. The next one, which is a pretty good one actually if it comes to feeder clubs, is Poland. So Poland takes 3 years to gain nationality, but this is continuous. And if you remember what I said, continuous means that the player you loan out to a team in Poland has to be there 3 years in a row. He cannot leave. So this is where it becomes important to have feeder clubs, but he can obviously come back to your club in a short time before you offer him out again on loan to a team in Poland. But if we actually go to a team and have a look for a player, let's say Nani, I'm not sure if he's been here a while, you can see 1,095 days continuously, and that is 3 years. The next nation, which is 3 years as well, is Serbia, but this is accumulative. So this means that he can actually leave, so you can send him on loan to Serbia for a year, he can go somewhere else for a year, he can come back, and it will still continue in terms of his points. If we go and have a look at, say, Red Star, and then go to the senior squad, let's go to this guy who's from South Africa. So you can see on the screen right now, 1,095 days to get a Serbian nationality. Now, by far the best one is Spain, but this is only if the player is from South America. So Spain only takes 2 years if the player is South American, which is amazing. So all these Brazilians and Argentinians that you're bringing through on your team all you've got to do is send them to Spain for 2 years, and they will then get a work permit after them 2 years. So if you get a Brazilian when he's 18, by 20 years old, this guy could be playing for your first team, and he will successfully get a work permit. This is also very important when it comes to your league rules. So, for example, my team at the minute, I'm playing in Greece, and you can see there's a rule where it says there must be no more than 8 foreign players in the playing 11. So, for example, let's say Brazil for this. Brazil counts as a foreign team. So if I get a Brazilian 18-year-old, I could send him to Spain for 2 years, and then he won't count in that rule because he's got a second nationality of, say, Spain. So, yeah, it's something to think about because it is really important to try and get that second nationality on a player, even for rules or just to play him. A few teams to look out for now is Switzerland. If you're planning on sending your players to Switzerland, it takes 10 years to get a Switzerland nationality. So bear that in mind if you're thinking about sending your players to Switzerland. Croatia takes 8 years to gain a nationality, which is also continuous. So if you're sending a 18-year-old to Croatia year on year, it's going to take a long time before he gains nationality. So yeah, Croatia, that is 8 years. Germany, believe it or not, is also 8 years continuous. So, you know, as exciting it is to maybe send your player to Bayern Munich or Borussia Dortmund or Schalke or Leipzig, it sounds exciting, but it's going to take 8 years to gain a nationality continuously as well. Okay, so let's go through a few ways now where you can maybe help the situation and make it a little bit easier on yourself when it comes to loaning players out. So once you've been at a club for a while, you generally ask for a feeder club, and in that message you will see they will ask you if you want to choose that feeder club, and then if you say yes, you will get this message saying, as you've been with West Brom manager a long time now, the board would like to give you further control over the affiliation policy. Very, very important in this game. If we press choose club, you then get an option of certain clubs that are interested in becoming your affiliate. Now, what you can do is you can go by the nations I've said in this video. I'm going to assume there's no teams there from Gibraltar. Let's have a little look just to show you. So Gibraltar, there's no teams interested. But this is a rep thing, as I mentioned before. So let's go to Poland. So Poland was the next team on the list. So Poland, there's actually some decent teams here. You know, these are in the top tier of Poland. So it's a decent rep nation. You know, it's a respectable league. Players generally will go there. Don't forget you can do more than one of these as well. So you could have Poland, Serbia, and Spain if you can do it, just to give your players a choice. But Spain is obviously the best option, which is 2 years, which we'll come on to. But it's not always possible to get the best team in Spain, you know? And you're never going to get Barcelona as a feeder club. It's generally going to be in the second league and things like that. Maybe, if you're lucky, maybe a lower team who's in La Liga. But yeah, Poland, there's some good teams. And then the other one was Serbia. So let's go down to Serbia. Let's untick Poland. So Serbia, let's go just here. So Serbia's there. So you got 4 teams available. But all 4 are in the Jelen Super League, which is the top tier, and all are very good rep. Now, one thing a lot of people do, actually, let's go to Spain. Let's show you Spain. So you can see kind of what's available in Spain. If we go just there. So you can see Spain. At the minute, you have actually got a few teams in La Liga. So very interesting. You've got FC Andorra. You've got CD Lugo. So a few decent clubs that you can pick here. And you know, these are 3-star rep teams. Now, it all depends on what you're going to get in your save, but this is just an example. So thank you to Kelvin, who's gave me this save to have a look. He's currently managing West Brom on this right now, and is in the Premier League. So yeah, thank you to Kelvin for giving me this to show people. So once you've got all this loaded up, it's very, very easy to choose the top team or the second team, because they're second on the list. Now, this team is in Cyprus, and Cyprus actually takes 7 years to get an EU nationality. So it's not always the best. Always make sure you go with them 4 nations that I said at the start. So what we're going to do, we're going to choose CD Lugo. We're going to right click and press choose affiliate club. You have selected them, and then press confirm. And generally, if they're in that list, they will accept your affiliation. And you can just literally right click the player once you get to it, once the affiliation comes in, and you just press send to affiliate club, and then the player will decide if he wants to go to Spain. But that's probably the easiest way to do it. But the downside with that is your players are quite high rep, and, you know, a Brazilian 18-year-old who's tutored as the next wonder kid might not want to go and join that specific team in Spain. So there is another way to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the specific player that, let's say you're 18-year-old Brazilian, you want to loan out to get a work permit. I'm going to right-click that player. I'm going to go to transfer and offer to clubs. Okay, so once we get to this point, we're going to make sure we select loan offer. Generally, most people just press yes, offer to clubs. But I want you to go to targets. And I want you to go to clubs to propose to. And you can put all clubs from nation, and you can choose the nations that was in the four nations I said at the start of the video. So we're going to go Spain. I mean, you can even do all of them at the same time. So you can do Poland, and then you can do Serbia as well. But if they aren't on this list, just make sure you scroll down, and you can actually look for them. So we're going to try this, and we're going to see if anyone comes in. I mean, I don't think Gibraltar will work. We'll try it, but I very doubt it will. So we're going to offer to clubs. Of course, you can then set your play time and stuff like that. I'm just going to leave this blank right now. I tried to offer a few players out, but it didn't really work because he hasn't got much potential in the under-23s or under-18s. So it didn't really work because a lot of the players I tried to offer out was first-team players, which is understandable. Obviously, if they didn't have a work permit, they wouldn't be first-team players. So, but yeah, that's been the end of the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this and maybe learned something that you didn't know before, whether it's how to offer the players out or choosing an affiliate or knowing the nation which you should be sending your players to. It's been the end of the video, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.